Hey, everybody. So happy to have you on today's Profitable Impact Show. Look, we've been gone for a while, I know, and we're finally back with new content, new topics, new discussions. We're super excited to be back with you. So give us a heart, give us a comment, let us know if you're watching live. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about how you know if you have a story that's worthy of sharing with others.
Yes. But first, let's introduce ourselves because not everyone watching necessarily knows who we are. If we've never met, I'm Kim.
I'm Kat.
And we're the mentors behind Profitable Impact Academy. We are on a mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners just like you create more influence, more profits, and more impact in the world by leveraging the power of public speaking. And so I'm really excited to come in and share with you guys because we get asked this a lot. Well, I just don't think I have a story. What should I do? And so that's what we're going to dig into. But if you're joining us live, give us some love, give us some hearts, give us some wow faces if you can hear us okay. I'm actually going to go to my phone really quick and share this into our Facebook group. And so just, let us know you're here. Drop us some comments. We're super excited.
Yes, and from now on, every week at the same time, it's going to be every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Mountain. Just jump on, join us. Let's have a discussion and cover some of the most and impactful topics when it comes to entrepreneurship, business ownership, and impact in general around the world. You know, impact is our new word that we want to own, because we just are so passionate about heart-centered entrepreneurs who are truly trying to create impact in the world, who are passionate about what they do, who they work with, and who are passionate about leaving a legacy behind. So I know most of you are thinking, oh, okay, well, that's a long time from now, legacy and to live 50 more years, which is amazing, but imagine all the things that you can do over the next 50 years and all the things you can create in the world. And again, just give us a heart, give us a comment. Let us know that you are listening, that you're here, that you're excited to find out if you have the story worth the sharing.
Yes. And so if you know someone that needs to hear this live, tag them in the comments, share it with your network. Like we said, give us some wow faces. That one's my new favorite comment. And let us know, are you sharing your story right now? Just give us a yes or a no. I would love to know. So I want to say this week's show was actually inspired by a really wonderful lady that I had a discovery call with last week. And it was so funny because she jumped on the call and she said to me, well, Kim, I just don't think I have a story worth sharing. Nothing really special has ever happened to me. And then I said to her, well, tell me about yourself. And she launched into this most epic story. Like that just completely, it was like a novel. It was like, I was just like, oh my God, you need to write a book. And it was so funny to me because so many people come to us and say, well, I just don't have a story to share. Nothing really exciting has ever happened to me in my life. And so that's why we want to do this video for you today and talk about it, because there's so many people out there that just aren't sharing their story because they don't think it's extraordinary. And I really want you to know that your story is extraordinary and that I want you to just start sharing it right now, especially as an entrepreneur. There is someone out there that is going to hear your story and it is going to give them that light bulb moment. It's going to just shift things for them. And so that's our first tip today is you have a story, and it doesn't have to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you. It could be the best thing that's ever happened to you. But the thing is we all overcome obstacles and go through things. It could even just be the moment you decided to leave your corporate job, right? But that is going to resonate with someone who's in a moment of indecision or feeling like they just can't get over the obstacles in their own life. And when you are courageous and brave enough to put yourself outside of your comfort zone and share your story, it creates ripples of impact. It creates positive change for the other people that have the privilege of hearing you share that story.
And Kim, I'm going to share the story of how you found one of your stories. It actually was really great way to show ripples of impact. Kim and myself, we were doing a video interview for a company called Miximize. And that was the first time ever that I shared a story of how I stopped any kind of public speaking for over 8 years. And that triggered in Kim a story that came from her childhood. I mean, if you haven't heard it, you got to hear it. Come out to one of our events, and it's just incredible. But after Kim shared the story from her childhood, what happened is she shared it at our 3-day event, Profitable Speaker Bootcamp. And people just kept coming up and telling her how that triggered them to find their impact story. Yeah. It reminded them of the moment from their childhood where they were 7 years old, and all the things that happened to them that will truly impact anybody on the other side, anybody listening to them sharing that story. So you can see how from me sharing this story created an impact in Kim's life, and she created impact in so many others. And here's, I just can't emphasize enough. If you think you don't have a story, just think back, think again. Sometimes you're living your story right now. You might be right in the midst of your story, in your struggle, right this moment, but it is still such an impactful story to share.
Yes, it's so true. And honestly, I'll never forget that day you shared that video, because we're on camera, multiple cameras, and you shared this story I've never heard. You just dropped this epic story, and I was like, how have I never heard this story before? And it did. By the time I got home, it had uncovered my own story of the moment I decided I didn't want to be the center of attention, and having uncovered that moment has completely freed me up to become a more prolific speaker and share my stories in new and different ways, because I've cleared that limiting belief now. And so I'm forever grateful that you dropped that story that day. And you're right, it has paid forward already, because we had so many people at our last 3-day event uncover their own stories. So that's such an amazing thing. So tip 2, here's the thing. The reason why a lot of people don't share their story or even engage in any kind of public speaking is fear. It's just fear, plain and simple. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear you're going to mess up. Right? Even today, so we're testing a new app, Be Live, to stream our Facebook Live. And I was like, oh, it's going to mess up and nothing's going to work, right? You have all these different fears come up every time you're doing something new. And you have to be willing to have a little bit of grace for yourself, but recognize that when you have a mission and a calling in this world, especially as an entrepreneur, it is so important that you just start sharing your story, because in a way, it's a little bit selfish if you don't, because if you can help another person uncover a belief that's holding them back, or have a new perspective on their own story or their life or what's holding them back, do you want to stop that from happening just because of your own fear? Or do you want to just embrace the fear and go for it and start sharing your story in a way that really creates know, like, and trust? We hear that so much in the entrepreneur world, and marketing is know, like, trust. Facebook Live and speaking at events and sharing your story in a really authentic way that connects with people is one of the fastest things you can do to help grow your business.
Absolutely. And I tell you right now, chances are your fear is standing in the way of your success. It's standing in a way of you having the life that you want. And if you just start taking those small steps towards that fear until you're one step past it, that's when you're going to see the ripple effect of impact that you're creating. But first, start taking those steps, small steps, until you're past the fear. Yeah. And, it will come up again. The fear will always be there in one way or another, whether it is about public speaking, sharing your story, trying a new exercise, or buying a car, right? Some kind of investment. Really, the fear will come up so many times in your life, and it's no different than a muscle. You got to exercise overcoming your fear. You got to exercise going past it. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. So continue exercising that muscle of overcoming and going past your fear. All right, let's jump to number 3. And tip number 3 is, honestly, it's inspired by my dear friend, David DiGiorgio. He just published his TED Talk, and he talked about the concept called comparanoia. Yes, you heard me, comparanoia, right? So really the tip is stop comparing yourself to others, especially to people who've been doing this for 20, 30, 50 years. I mean, I'm no next Oprah just yet. But if I start comparing myself to Oprah every single day, I show up on the show, on the TV, in the studio, on the stage. Let's say my little critic in the back of my mind is going to be pretty loud, right? Because Oprah has been doing it for how many years? So of course her skills are beyond what I have right now. So stop comparing yourself to others. There's only one of you. Embrace who you are. Find your little quirks and really share them. People love you for that. You have friends, family right now who love you for who you are. Now you just need to embrace it and learn to be yourself when you're sharing your story, when you're on stage, when you're doing any kind of speaking. Honestly, I nerd out on tech. Cam rolls her eyes every single time I start talking about the new tool that I think we should get, even though we don't really need it, but it's cool. But in reality, that's me. And guess what? I still have people who love me for me. They let me nerd out and they laugh at it and they still love me. So embrace your personality, embrace your nerd, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Embrace what you're passionate about. That's how people are going to connect with you. Guess what? There's many other people who are passionate about your topic, who nerd out on nutrition, on fitness, on tech, who nerd out on those little things that you want to talk about. And you're going to attract those people into your life. They're going to be watching you. So really, I heard this quote somewhere, be yourself because everybody else is taken. So yeah, be yourself. There's only one you in the world and people will be attracted for who you are.
Yes, absolutely. And like, there's someone who there's like, I guarantee you, there is one person whose life will in some way be positively affected by you sharing your story. And so your thing is you need to just embrace the fear and go ahead and start doing it. Especially as an entrepreneur or business owner, like I said, letting people know who the real you is and what your values are and what your personality is like is the fastest way to call them in and have them be ready to work with you, right? And so my call to action to you is I want you to like take out your calendar right now and schedule a Facebook Live where you are just going to go and you're going to share something about yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be the biggest, worst thing that ever happened to you. It's just a moment of new understanding that may help someone else in their own life. Because that is going to call in those people who are meant to work with you, who are dying to work with you and just don't know it yet.
Absolutely.
So if this has resonated with you, and I know it's going to resonate with people, I want you to share it. I ask you to drop our comments. If you catch this later, drop us a hashtag replay. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the box and we will reply to you. We'll be checking back in this video later.
And hey, if you ever heard someone say, I don't think I have a story worth sharing, tag them below, challenge them to do that live.
Yeah.
Tag them below, show them they need to watch those 3 tips so they can finally start making impact.
Yes. And so we're going to be here every week, same time, same day. So join us again next week. And if you are not yet in our free Facebook community, How to Create Impact and Profits, I invite you to come join us there. You can use the short URL joinmds.com and it will take you right to the group, or you will find it at the top of this page. And thank you for watching. I'm so excited to be back at our weekly show with our new, we're pumped up and ready to share with you how you can create more impact as an entrepreneur or business owner. And any last thoughts, Kat?
Yeah, see you next Wednesday at 11 o'clock Mountain.
Yay, bye.